This is the Jeff Crilley Show on Talk Radio 1190.
Welcome back to the Jeff Crilley Show. I know no one ever wants to go to the hospital, but if you have to go to a hospital, can I recommend one? It's Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital of Flower Mound, and the chairman of the board of managers, Dr. Mike Hisey, is with us. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, thank you for having me, Jeff.
Very cool. So I had the pleasure, my PR firm had the pleasure of shooting a video for one of your annual galas, and I got a chance to go around the hospital and interview employees. And just to set the scene for you, hospitals are not known for being happy places. I mean, you're caring for sick people all the time, but you guys have really created something special. Why don't you talk about the culture?
Well, thank you. So the culture of Texas Health Flower Mound Hospital is all about taking care of the patients. We tried to create an inviting environment, a comfortable environment for our patients so that it feels welcoming. It's got a small boutique-y feel. All of the major services are offered, but it's kept in a very family fashion. We're very welcoming. We have nice reception areas. We try and maintain the very highest quality as well.
And I know that each year you guys have fun. You've been known to dress up and costume. Talk about, where does this come from? Is this part of the leadership philosophy?
Yeah, it is. It comes from our leadership. Spencer Turner is our president of the hospital, and he does a great job at engaging the employees. He'll spend some nights working with the night crews. As you know, hospitals are open 24 hours, so he wants to be there and see what they're doing. Our marketing team has worked very well to bring the employees into all of the social environments of the hospital. We have an annual gala, as you mentioned, that really brings them into it. We work hard on many things, including patient satisfaction, including making sure the employees are happy, because if our employees are happy and feeling like they're involved and part of the treatment plan, then our patients are going to be happy and satisfied too.
And that's famously, that's the philosophy of Southwest Airlines, is that customers aren't number one, the employees are number one. Because if you make the employees happy, they'll make the customers happy. And I would think in healthcare that's even more important, because the customers that you're seeing are in pain, and they don't typically that's not always a happy customer.
That's right. They may come in with a problem. They're in distress, and we try to make them feel comfortable. And not only do they come in with their own set of concerns that they need us to help them with, but their families come in with their own set of concerns. We try and help with both of those things, making them both feel comfortable. And we start that by making sure our employees, the nurses, the kitchen staff, everybody throughout the hospital, top to bottom, are happy. And we've been successful at that. We've twice been named the #1 best place to work in this market segment.
I think that's amazing. Let's talk about the hiring process. When you hire people, are you kind of screening for attitude? Is this person, a toxic employee, or is this person a happy employee, or how does that work?
Of course. Well, first of all, we try not to hire too much. We try to retain our employees. In fact, we've been very high and very successful at that. But when we do hire new people as we grow, yeah, we do, of course, screen them for personality traits and a caring attitude and ability to communicate well, too. It's very important when we're talking about shift changes and that sort of thing to be able to communicate what's going on with the patient to make sure that their continuity is kept up. Or if there's, say, an issue. Sometimes patients will have issues in the middle of the night. We've got a very strong protocol for how to communicate those issues to the doctor on call. I will get a call and have a very clear conversation about exactly what's happening with the patient, what they want from me, and how I can help, and makes it better for the patients. And
healthcare tends to attract a certain kind of person, a caregiver type person who really wants to dedicate their lives. It's not about the money often in healthcare. It's really about caring for other people, isn't it?
It is, and that's the nurturing personality is something that's very important to find and bring that part of the employee out, or part of even the doctors, for that matter, getting them involved in the same sort of decision making.
One of the people I remember from the video we shot, she was working in delivery, and she said that she had just gotten to the hospital, and one of the nurses came over with a newborn and said, "Hey, I just want to show this to everybody because this is what we've been working so hard for." And as she's describing this, she starts to tear up. And I thought to myself, wow, that's not losing sight of the miracle of birth and what this is all about. I mean, are you touched by that kind of passion?
Oh, of course. Yeah, we definitely welcome those attitudes. Obviously, you've got to be involved with your patients and them knowing that you care. You don't have to show it. If you really do care, you don't have to do anything special to show it. They'll pick that up. They'll get it. When we built the hospital, Texas Health Flower is a partly physician-owned hospital. It's done in conjunction with Texas Health Resources, but the doctors take a lot of pride in it. We actually started the project back before I was chairman of the board and decided to work with Texas Health Resources. And in that process, we've really tried to build a culture of caring and a culture of we're not just going to be a hospital that is in the community trying to take a slice of business. We wanted to be the community hospital. So
Yes.
We do provide services like labor and delivery. We do have a very full emergency room, very active emergency room. And we pride ourselves on taking good care of patients on all of those segments.
And it impresses me, you know how you can get a good feeling or a bad feeling as soon as you walk in a building. You can tell whether it's a cold place or a happy place. And you do get a happy vibe when you walk in. It really is a community hospital where it impressed me, just an aside, that as we were running around the hospital filming different scenes, everybody was like waving to each other, knew each other by first name. That's hard to do, I think, sometimes when you get large. You have several hundred employees.
Right. Well over 400. And it is just part of the culture. And that is still relatively small as far as hospitals go. So it's very easy for me to know most of the employees by name or at least by face. And one of the other things that we have is our volunteers, who are wonderful. Obviously, they're volunteering their time, but they're known to everybody as well. So that's a wonderful thing. We also, because of the volunteer program, have our high school students. There's a few local high schools in Flower Mound that now have the ability to have a place for their students to go if they're interested in a medical career, to get some experience volunteering, taking care of patients, interacting, seeing if it's really for them, seeing if it's something that they would enjoy. So being able to provide even that small service to the community, we're very proud of.
One of the things that impressed me is I remember one of the floors there were like letters that were taped on the wall, and it was just kind of thank yous from patients that had a great experience. And I don't remember a time when I ever wrote a thank you letter to a hospital.
Yeah, it's amazing. We get them all the time, and it's very complimentary. We're in the current day and age, we're surveying everybody about everything, and our surveys come back very good from our patients. They're showing that they're feeling like they're well cared for, and things are in general going right for them.
And talk about your specialty, because you probably bring something special to your patients as well.
Well, I'm a spine surgeon, and so my patients, when I'm taking care of them, often have either an acute, very painful problem, either a new fracture or a new herniated disc, or sometimes a long-term degenerative problem. And in either case, I'm in general trying to help them with something that's been hurting for a long time. And so we try and make sure that we're sensitive to that, make sure that we diagnose the problem very accurately so we can do the smallest procedure possible to get them the pain relief that they need and they want.
What's it like to run into a patient even years later who says, "Doc, you won't believe how good I feel"?
Oh, that's a great feeling. You change their lives. And those are the patients you don't see over and over again. Not everybody gets better and is perfect. And so those patients come back and back and back, and it can be frustrating. But when you just are reminded by the ones that you got better, you see them once after surgery and they're perfect and they're going on with their life, that's very rewarding. We have many, many success stories like that. And not just my specialty, but all of the specialties at the hospital.
And we talked a little bit about keeping employees in place and happy, because it does get expensive to go and recruit and train employees. Is there typically a lot of turnover in hospitals?
Hospitals do typically have high turnover rates. Ours does not, but I think it's because the employees are so happy, so comfortable, so they feel listened to and empowered. I think that's how we retain them. And there's something to be said for picking them right up front, so picking the correct people.
And is it when you have a physician-owned hospital, do you feel like there's a special type of care that comes from men and women who've been on the front lines? They're not just administrators.
Yeah, I think from both a doctor's perspective and an employee perspective, the employees feel like they can turn to the doctors if there are issues and they're going to get support, whereas in other hospitals, the doctors are sort of disempowered from being able to change anything at the hospital. In our hospital, very much people will come to me, particularly since I'm chairman of the board, with problems and questions, and I will tell them how we're trying to address them. Sometimes I can give them an answer they're happy with. Sometimes it's harder, but we do try and be responsive, at least give them an understanding of why things are the way they are.
What's your most rewarding memory of being with the hospital?
Well, so the hospital struggled to begin with. We put a big hospital in a place that's never had a hospital, and to begin with, we weren't making our numbers. We weren't keeping the hospital going. And when we finally made that transition from being a burden to being something that's providing great care, and all of a sudden now it's financially viable as well, it was great. And then as we've seen that whole corridor around the hospital develop, there's many skilled nursing facilities, senior care centers built up around that area that have shown that they value the hospital being there, and it's really increased the kind of healthcare delivery available to people in Flower Mound. Really, before we were there, all there were a few freestanding emergency rooms. Now there's a full hospital, and that hospital has allowed the people of Flower Mound to keep their older relatives nearby rather than having to be far away, because they have the skilled nursing facilities, and then they know that if something were to happen, there's a place right nearby where they can get excellent care for their family members.
Dr. Mike Hisey is my guest, Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital of Flower Mound. What's the website?
It's www.texashealthflowermound.com.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
When we come back, one of the hottest trends in team building and the man behind a new company that you're wanting to find out more about next on The Jeff Crilley Show.
You're listening to The Jeff Crilley Show on Talk Radio 1190.